I'm Mason Mount. You're listening to the London is Blue podcast.
All right, here we go. Ross the Boss, even quoted on social media, Nick, as the MVP of preseason. I don't want to sound too American with that statement. It wasn't me who said it. But talk about a guy who's just excelling and really almost like a new lease on life right now. And so let's kind of dig into them. I'll keep it really wide and open. You can react to his performance. And I guess just what are your expectations for him going into this season after this kind of run of form?
I mean, I think the first thing is you tip your hat to a guy who is clearly, as Dan wrote in the script, on one. I mean, it is a night and day Ross Barkley from Antonio Conte's last season to Sarri's first season and subsequently last season to
first and only season.
Yeah, to what you see right now. I mean, it makes me understand that there are such things as confidence players, and with the empowerment of Frank Lampard behind him, and I think Ross's commitment, which has been doubted at times, and I think fairly so, with his renewed commitment, he just looks like a whole different dude. I wrote in my one tweet recap of the match that I think he's locked down the number 10 right now, and I know the Mason Mount heads out there are probably mad that I'm saying that, but I think when you look at all the intangibles, I don't think he's as good of a passer as Mason Mount. He might not even be as big of a natural goal scorer as Mason Mount is, but he's just doing it right now. I don't know if there's any scientific way to put it, Dan. Like, he just is doing the right things at the right time, and for a guy who's still relatively young, it's very, very promising to me, and that's why I put him in my lineup for United.
Yeah, and let's talk about him being on one and some of those specific things he's doing well. Holy fuck! What were those assists? What the hell?
Yeah,
the
man.
assist to put
The Pulisic ball.
The Pulisic
nuts.
ball was incredible. That was like
Nuts.
Fabregas-esque. And then the one that he delivered to Pedro, like that goal and the assist needs to live in a gallery somewhere and just play on loop, because it is the definition of the word perfection. It is absolutely, it's obscenely beautiful. And people are making jokes about, like, was it uploaded to certain adult websites? Or people joking about, like, someone was coming at me. I was like, I tweeted back at them that I'm going to have to talk to HR later today if we're looking at inappropriate content. But yeah, he was dialed in this game. And we talked after the last match against Reading about how he unfortunately was cast with maybe some of the lesser performers like Daniel Drinkwater, like Bakayoko, didn't even get minutes in this game. And his resiliency showing through in this moment. Right now, he's tied with Mason Mount for most goals in preseason at 3. He leads the team with preseason's assists at 3. He is someone who is, if you think about, if you're gambling, he's got the hot hand right now. And if you're going into the, Casino Royale that is Old Trafford coming up in a couple days' time, you want to roll with that hot hand. And as much as I am probably one of those more individuals excited, as Nick talked about Mason Mount, I would put Barkley in ahead of him if I'm putting one person in that 10 role. And I think this lineup that we saw today is pretty much exactly what I would cast for that match, Brandon.
Right. Well, you talk about intangibles. I mean, Nick, what it comes down to is decision making, right? He's making all the right decisions, and that is the hardest part. Most of these players are technically good enough, tactically good enough, but it's about making the right decision in the moment. And right now, he's doing it. He's making all the right decisions. So he's 25 still. And I was like, wait a second. That seems so young. He's played over 200 matches professionally since he was at Everton. He made his debut in 11-12 and has been playing pretty much over 20 matches this season, except for a couple injuries. since 2014. I mean, this guy has the experience of a veteran, but he still is not even at his prime physically yet. So, I understand people say he's not the smartest footballer. He just kind of has to go on natural instincts. Well, right now his natural instincts are locked in. So you just want to keep the casino mentions going, right? Like you don't leave a hot hand. You just keep riding it, right? We just watched Hangover on the way home from a bachelor party. Never leave a heater. And Ross is the heater right now.
I think Dan made a really good point that the difference between playing with Kovacic and Jorginho and Bakayoko and Drinkwater is stunning, because and this is credit to them and it's credit to Ross too. It's breaking lines, right? You have to break lines to really create some solid movement in the final third. And both of those players in the holding roles are able to send a ball into Ross that he can do something with. Mm-hmm. And he can either instinctually or through his ever evolving football brain make the right call. When Bakayoko rockets a ball at him from 4 yards away and he can't do anything with it, then yeah, he's going to look worse, So the quality, in a 4-2-3-1, of the pivot and of the deeper holding player is really important. But then you just got to give him credit, man. Like, I would have never predicted that we were having this conversation right now. And I think it's just a credit to him for working hard, for being fit, for being available. And, with a lot of competition in those front three places, like, everyone's going to have to keep up. This isn't like, I got it, everyone just chill out, I'm the man. Callum's coming for the spot. Pulisic's coming for the spot. Pedro, Willian, Mason Mount, all these guys are coming for the spot. You got to make sure that you keep up the momentum. You got to make sure that you're contributing in a meaningful way. And, shit, man, just hat tip.
Yeah.
Well, but this is where it all comes back to some of the coaching too, right? You had someone in Ross Barkley who was almost given too many instructions. The computer code of his brain broke under Mauricio Sarri, and it really caused him to pause on the pitch at times and not know what the next natural thing to do. And it seems like Frank has gone in there with Jody and the rest of the team and just deprogrammed him and said, go back out there and play the type of football that we're looking for. And he looks like someone who's not hesitating the same way that he was under Sarri at times last year. Yeah. And I think that's something that's very exciting to see, because when some players just don't respond well to too much direction, they like a little bit of tactical nuance and they want to go take some general time just to go out and be a footballer and make an impact. And it seems like that might be who Ross is. And if Frank can get the most out of him, man, watch out.
It doesn't, Brandon, it doesn't have to be complicated to be good, right? Like,
wrong.
Sometimes the simple
Did you
things.
Watch Sorry Ball?
Wrong.
If it's not complicated, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think simplicity is maybe a way for Frank to really break through with this team. It's like, look, guys, we have talent. The talent's not the question. Maybe in a couple areas it is, but talent's not the question for you, Ross. Like, you have it, but you got to do something with it. And I'm going to put you in a position where you can actually make some moves. And if I was Ross or Mason or Tammy or any of these guys who are young, English talents, and I'm looking at a guy who scored about 100 million goals in the Premier League, what do I got to lose? I'm going to try something new.
For sure. It's a little bit of a tangent, but Rob Green was on BBC recently. And by the way, he is so well-spoken. He's unbelievable. Not only did he gift a goal to the U.S. in the World Cup, turns out he's just a really great guy as well. But what he was talking about with Maurizio Sarri is that everything was very drilled and it was very specific. And it was even if Jorginho was marked, you had to play the ball to him, even if he was probably going to lose it. And in this new system, Frank has kind of taken off those shackles and been like, what if you have 3 options instead of 1.5, right? The half being go back to Kepa. Now you're letting these players make decisions, think quicker, feel less pressure to have to do the one thing. And if they don't do the one thing, they're wrong. And I think that is a difference in managerial approach. Also, Dan, talk about it. His job is to get the best out of players he has, not put players into his best system, kind of what we saw last year, which we had some issues. So, again, it seems to be benefiting Ross more than others, and good for him. At Naz tweeted at Nisar Kinsella saying Chelsea preseason goals. 1, Abraham Pedro Kennedy, all of 1 goal. On 2 is Giroud, Pulisic, Batshuayi, and 3 is Barkley and Mount. The 2 guys that we keep talking about every episode going head to head are just...
There's a reason we're talking about them.
Hey, and they are up for it, are they not? And this is a good situation for Chelsea. And then when it comes to preseason assists, on 1, you've got Jorginho, Kennedy, Kovacic, Pedro Batshuayi. 2, Alonso, obviously, why not? And then 3 is Barkley. 3 goals, 3 assists so far in preseason, just killing it. And then Naz replied to his own tweet saying, asterisk, puts Barkley in FPL fantasy team.
Good value, £6 million.
I say I bet he's a bargain still at this point.